welcome back to the channel Edify. So now it's time to post the unit 2 video. Here it is gender identity and gender socialization. So I hope you remember we have seen the first unit of the paper gender, school and the society last week. So after completing the first unit, now this is a second unit. So we have seen gender roles in society in first unit. It is now gender identity and socialization process. If you haven't seen the first unit, gender roles in society, please go back to the channel Edify and look into the video that we posted for unit 1 and come back here to the unit 2 for your better continuity. Okay, first of all, gender identity. What is gender identity according to you? Think for a minute. Okay, I hope you have some idea in gender identity now. Right, let's jump into it. Yes. So, what we gonna say in this unit is, basically, gender, school, society is examining how the gender identity is formed, negotiated, reproduced through social institution. Okay, so we have a main factor of family, and gender is not a biological given, it is a social construction. Again, it is a social construction, everyday practice, interaction, ritual, institutional structure, everything get involved in this so-called social construction. Okay, and this particular unit is exploring how the families are, taking part in this gender identity. School, teacher, peers, curriculum, textbooks, everything. Okay, are they challenging or reinforcing the gender inequalities? Let us see this. First, it's all about gender identity and socialization in families and organization. What it is about the gender norms that have automatically, something sculptured in the home from the ancestors and in the community institutions before entering to this school. So it's all about family and the society that is around the particular child before entering the school. Then comes the role of school, peers, teachers, curriculums, textbooks. Then again, it is responsibilities that is in the schools and classrooms. Roles and responsibilities in schools and classrooms. So, differentiate the second and third. Second is all about role of school, peer, teachers. Third is all about roles and responsibilities that a student have in a school and classroom. Okay, now, discrimination, ritual, routine, everything. What are the practices that is going through in the boys and girls through hidden mechanisms? Again, analysis of sex roles and stereotypes. Okay, now, these are the topics that we're going to look into deeply. First, gender identity, concept and formation. What is the concept? What is gender identity? It is referring to the deeply felt individual's internal and personal experience of gender. It's not about biological again. Only the sex is biological term, whereas it's defined with the hormones and etc. But gender is not like that. It is a social construction. Social, cultural, psychological construct that define what it means to be a man, woman or a person of another gender in a given society. So the Meenakshi Sundaram, that's the book we are referring, no? So according to the author, gender identity is not fixed at birth. It is not fixed at birth. It is constructed through socialization. And it is a lifelong process where the internalization comes with the norms, values, behaviors considered appropriate for the particular gender. And there is a Judith Butler who is arguing that gender is a performative. He is a key theorist meanwhile. So gender is a performative. It is produced and reproduced through repeated actions and behaviors rather being an innate quality. So it's not an innate quality, it is produced, it is performative and it is reproduced through repeated actions and behaviors. So no one understands the process thoroughly, that is sent by Kingsley Davis. Okay, he says that no one understands the process of this gender identity thoroughly. It is still as mysterious as photosynthesis or organic aging. It is true that direct socialization begins only after birth. Okay. So internal factors or forces of human limit, that is mentioned in the book. You can see whatever I say in the book. That is Kingsley Davis remarks, and even there's things that is forces of human limit or help a socialization is reflexes, instincts, urges, capacities, comprehensions, and educability. Everything is there. Okay. And yes, again I'm telling you, gender is performative. Gender is not, it is not by the birth. It is not innate. It is produced and reproduced, and it is constructed through socialization. Okay. So this process of socialization is also developing the self and ego. That is also there. Okay. How gender identity is formed? We've seen what is gender identity. Now, how it is formed? Gender identity formation begins from the moment a child is born, when the announcement came from the hospital. It's a boy, it's a girl. There it start getting triggered with the expectations of society. Okay, what is society? It has different things. Primary socialization, the primary society, family. Family is the first and powerful agent as well, most powerful agent as well. Parents, siblings, extended family, which is in the name of relatives and etc. Assigning the gender names, colors, toys, role, behaviors from infancy. So if someone comes to see the newborn girl child, they might be buying a dresses, jewels, like that. If a newborn is a boy baby, then they might buying a toys that is in the car or something like that, that is they design it, that is for a boy and this is for a girl. So that is what a primary socialization, the family and the extended family. Then secondary socialization. So secondary socialization is all about school, peers, groups, medias, everything. So whereas if an infant is entering into the school as a child, there also the gender identity as the child is growing, there also the differentiation takes place. Then internalization, over a time they themselves start realizing the natural or normal, they start making the gender identity appear self-evident rather than socially constructed. Self-evident matters a lot. And though they say self-evident, I say that the social construction is one of the strongest thing that may be the reason for their self-evident. Okay, negotiation and resistance. Of course, when the people getting to know about the gender identity, how this works, how this came, everything, they start questioning, and the negotiation and resistance starts there. They may accept or they may negotiate. It's all about them, how they take, how their eyes and their perspectives are there. So this is how it is formed, and it's been negotiated, and internalization, everything happens. Okay. Now, gender socialization practice in the families and organization. As I told you, as we discussed, family is playing important role. How it is playing? From the birth, in naming, clothing, toys, food portions, freedom of women, households, everything. Mostly girls have the socialized towards nurturing, domesticity, compliance, and boys towards assertiveness, physical activity, leadership. These things are still happening. Maybe the percentage differ, but still it's happening. The girl needs to be protected more. The boy needs to be, raised with leadership more. Still it's happening. No one can say that it is 100% evolved. No, it's happening. Okay. Gender toys and activities. See, doll, kitchen set, soft toys are given to girls to prepare them for the caregiving roles. Boys receive car, gun, sport. Here I have my own point of view, that is, why don't we buy the kitchen set for whatever girl or a boy it is, and tell them that this is the not a responsibility of a girl. This is the responsibility of a human to know to cook, not for others but to survive in the world, to eat, to eat their own food. They should know to cook. They cannot depend on somebody in all the timings, not the hotels or not the parents at all the time. So when there is a need, they should know to cook. When there is an emergency, at least at those times, they know, they should cook. Cook something and give to someone. The love in that cook to the person who you really care, that care in love is really different. So it is not for the girls, right? Same. Even the girl can go and drive the car, play the car game. Why not? So there also the gendered, based and biased activities happening. A role of religious and community organization. So when it comes to role of religious and community, here also the religious institutions, caste organizations, community groups, whatever it is, reinforcing gender norms through ritual, ceremony, prescribed roles. Girls may be excluded from certain practices or thought to their primary duty to the family and home. Still, that is also happening. Media. So this television, films, advertisements, also, stereotypical images are there in masculinity and femininity. Bollywood films, fairy tales, children's cartoons often portray women as a passive and men as a heroic protectors. Women-centric movies are there, but it is less. Women-centric movies are there, but it is less and less and less, and it doesn't give the commercial hit as well. Even a woman is not ready to watch continuous woman-centric movies. That is the reality here. Okay, so don't forget to write all those things, my dear teachers and educators. So now, role of school, peers, teachers, curriculum and textbooks. So schools are not the neutral spaces. They are powerful institutions that can either challenge the gender inequality or reproduce them. So again here the argument comes as the key site of secondary gender socialization, where children is encountering formal and informal messages about the gender every day in schools, every day. So teachers, again that is our role of teachers. Of course, the B.Ed students or current teachers or future teachers, everything. Already a teachers is also there, right? So the role of teachers. What is the role of teachers? Teachers often hold unconscious gender bias that affect their interaction with students. Research is showing that. We have the research evident. Call on boys more frequently in mathematics and science class. Prize boys for intellectual ability and girls for neatness and compliance. Tolerate disruptive behavior from boys more than from girls. Assigning leadership role more often to boys. Using gender language, that is, boys will be boys, girls should be gentle. Why should it is? That needs to be rethink. If you have used it, please avoid it. And if you see the other teachers or peer members using it, please tell them this is not good. Okay. Understand it. First, you understand it. If you are already doing it, please stop it right away. Think it about and stop it. What if our children gets that? Think that. Okay, role of peer. Peer groups are powerful agents of gender policing. Children who deviate from gender norms face ridicule, exclusion or bullying. Boys who show emotion, or girls who are assertive may be labeled negative by their peers, reinforcing comfort. This is so true. If a boy is crying, telling them don't cry like a girl, and if a girl is so strong and bold enough, that naming it as like behaving like a boy, that is, though they have a good nature, delivering emotion is not wrong, whoever it's so, and having the bold nature is also not wrong, however it's so. But the peer members who have their mind already registered this is wrong. So it is not about the peer members. It is about the mindset that has been cultivated to them, that has been given to them, taught to them. So there it needs to be corrected. Okay. Curriculum and textbooks. Let us come into this curriculum and textbooks, which is, critical but often overlooked side of gender bias. Underrepresentation. Women and girls appear far less frequently than men in textbooks across the subjects. Stereotyped portrayals. Women are shown primarily as mother, teacher, nurse, but men, scientist, leader, adventures. So there automatically they get a high face. Invisible contributions. Women's historical, scientific, cultural contributions are largely absent from the curriculum. It's not like it's not there. It is absent from the curriculum. It's there in the history, but it's not in the history book. That's the problem. Then language, use of masculine generic terms, mankind, he as a default, wherever it is, he as the default. And hidden curriculum, beyond formal content, the implicit messages conveyed through school culture, ritual, routine, that also goes for these things, reinforcing this gender. Okay, now gender roles and responsibilities assigned. Now the roles and responsibilities been assigned in the classroom. So classroom chores and tasks. Girls are routinely assigned the task as sweeping, cleaning, decorating, serving midday meals. Boys are assigned with physical labor, moving the furniture, organizing. The assignments communicate that domestic labor is a woman's work. And again, note the term domestic labor. They are not a labor, domestic labor. But boys are the leader. How come it be leader and labor? So that needs to be changed, which is happening still now. Physical education and sports are often organized on gender lines. Boys are encouraged to participate in athletic, cricket, football. Girls only the gentle games. And excluded altogether. And even the ground being occupied by the boys mostly. This is happening still. We cannot tell that 100% this is happening and 100% that is happening. But there is a problem still going on and it has to be appreciated. There are girls who come out of this and achieve the things in this modern era, 21st century. Okay, academic subject choices. Again, boys are encouraged in the science, maths and technology. Girls in the language, home science, arts. The choices limit future education and career opportunities for occupational segregation. This has changed. This I can say mostly the academic career has been changed, I believe. So far I seen. But not sure about the, percentage of it. But most of the girls are studying what they need and sometimes, it too get crashed. Okay, now, gender discrimination in classroom interaction. So, how it's been formed and how it is getting impacted. So, when it comes to classroom, it's often subtle and embedded in routine. So, differential attention. Teachers give more attention, time and detailed feedback to the boy, particularly in STEM subjects it seems. STEM subjects means maybe if you are not aware, STEM is nothing but science, technology, engineering, maths. This is what called STEM. Okay. So, questioning pattern. Boys are asked complex, analytical and girls are asked recall-based, simpler question. Even I recall in my days it's been like this. So, without realizing we are pausing on. Response to errors. Boys' mistakes are treated as learning opportunities. Girls' mistakes are seen as evidence of limited ability. But you know what? We are speaking these things in our textbooks. But at the same time, the recent result of the board examinations of the state have proved that girls had the highest percentage of marks than the boys. Here again, I didn't mean that, boys cannot and girls only can. Both can, but when there is a time speaking that girls is not able to do, we already did it. They already did it. So that is what I would like to mention. Yeah, that's good. Okay, response to errors. Boys' mistakes as it all learning opportunities, but that has not been, I cannot completely say, but it happened, maybe happening in few places. Seating arrangements, yeah, girls are sometimes seated at the back or separated from boys, and I still remember, and still even the children are, saying, whoever the child I see in the functions, neighbors are saying that if the boy is talking, have to sit with the two girls. This is a punishment. Is sitting with a girl is a punishment? Is the girl are that much figures we are seeing them as, using them as a tool to punish? No, right? That is also needs to be taken care. And sexual harassment, which is still the second it is happening, verbal and physical. Verbally also the girls get hurt a lot than boys, because they are light-hearted people, sensitive people. They'll get hurt by male peers, and sometimes even the teachers. There has to be, why are you doing why are you not behaving like a girl, they'll ask. I don't know who have the book that is like, this is how the girl have to behave. That's still happening. Impact discrimination. How these things are impacting. Girl became reluctant to participate actively, answer the questions, all these things. Lower self-esteem, which has to be taken care more and more. Repeated experience of being ignored, corrected, harshly stereotyped. Everything is there. The research says the particular, the girls. And academic underachievement. Discrimination contributes to the lower performance. And early dropout. Severe cases, especially in rural and especially in the rural and marginalized communities, gender discrimination contribute to girls dropping out of school. That's happening. Still, 1 or 2 is happening. That needs to be avoided. Even it is a single student, that matters. Internalized inferiority. Girl may come to believe that they are naturally less capable in certain domains, limiting their aspiration. That is also still happening. Even though they study, they complete. When it comes to career, it is depending on another family or their family. It is not about they. If a girl is going for a job in another district and the groom is going for the job in another district, when it comes to the marriage of both, the woman is always the one is, resigning and moving ahead. Still, this is a modern problem of women, right? The problem is there existing. It has been changed and refined as a modern problem, they call. Research by the National Council of Educational Research and Training, that is NCERT, has documented significant gender bias in classroom instruction across Indian schools, particularly in government and rural schools, is still happening. Okay. Now, ritual, school routines and hidden curriculum. What is hidden curriculum? Let's look into it. Beyond the formal teaching, every day, ritual and routine of school life constitute a hidden curriculum that is powerfully shaping the gender identity. Again, the argument comes of routine practices that so embedded in the school culture that they go unquestioned. Yet they communicate powerful messages about gender norms. Assembly and ceremonial practices. School assemblies often reinforce gender hierarchies. Boys may be positioned in front of the prominent roles in flag hoisting, prayer leading, announcements. Girls may be assigned decorative and supportive roles. National Day celebrations and cultural programs frequently assign gender roles. Boys perform martial and heroic act, but girls perform dancing and singing. That's still happening. Uniform and dress code. Dress codes are often more strictly enforced for the girls than for the boys. Clothing structurized as modesty. Violation may result in punishments. Everything is there. It's still unquestioned. And communicate that girls' bodies are source of consent but must be controlled, while boys' bodies are not subject to the same scrutiny. And toilet and sanitation facilities. It's very, a shame to talk about this. Why this is happening still? The availability and condition of separate toilets for girls is critical gender issue in Indian schools. Lack of adequate, clean, private sanitation facilitation is a major factor in girls' absenteeism and dropout, particularly after puberty. This institutional neglect signals that girls' needs are secondary. And still this is happening is something, everything we read that's still happening is something very bad and sad. But we have to accept it. And we should be a good initiators through our exam papers. Write this, speak about this. It's not only you have to, listen the audio and read the PPT and write it in the exam, which is taking here and vomiting there. No, you have to communicate also. My intention is you have to know this, understand this, either reading it, either memorizing it, understand this. So automatically if you understand, you start questioning yourself, you start questioning your surrounding, you start, creating the awareness to others and making others to understand. I want that actually. To this video, I request everybody who is watching at the moment, please start the initiative from you. If this is happening around you or you yourself can change that, please do it. Okay. Extracurricular activities, of course, school competitions, club, extracurricular activities are often organized along gender lines. Debate, science fairs, sports may be dominated by boys. Girls are challenged into the dancing activities, leadership position in student councils and clubs. Still, I remember, let me share you something. There is an election that held in my school during my higher grade. There is a boys standing in election 11, okay, and the candidates are, that is for the school leader, something, some other position, okay, but it is about for the whole school. That leader is for the whole school, not for the one class or two class, okay, whole school. And the 11 people are standing in the election, 11 boys are standing in the election, but the candidates standing in the election is 12. Total number of candidates is 12. 11 boys and 1 girl. Okay? 1:11. Hope you remember. 1:11. So, this is something, that one make a changes, right? That one says that it is not meant for boys. The one says that it is not denied for girls. It's there. No one says don't go, but still it's been seen as shock. It's been so talkative. There is a one girl. It's been so talkative in every campus, everywhere in the campus, and even to the other schools. I still remember. But why? It's a girl. It's a human, right? Why don't we see as the number of candidates instead of saying there is only one girl? That gossip, so that was there, I still remember. So when it comes to the extracurricular activities in the competitions and saying about the election leadership things, I thought to share this with you people. Yeah. Okay, now, process of disciplining. Techniques for boys and girls. So, discipline in schools is not gender neutral. Again, it's a highlights. Author is highlighting boys and girls are disciplined differently, reflecting societal expectations about masculinity and femininity. So how? Disciplining boys, physical punishment. They given be physical punishments, tolerance of aggression. Mild aggression between boys is often dismissed as boys being boys, normalizing the violent behavior. Emotional suppression. Boys who cry or show vulnerability may be ridiculed or punished, teaching them to suppress emotion. They should not show their emotion is not good at all again. Public humiliation. Boys may be subjected to public shaming as a disciplinary technique. Of course, this is also happening. Public shaming should not happen for anybody. And girls. Interaction with boys. For dressing, for being out for a dark, control over their mobility, sexuality, everything. Even if they turn their head, girls are responsible for that. Silencing girls who speak up, ladylike, unruly, difficult, everything was there. Domestic expectations. Girls may be punished for not performing assigned domestic tasks in the schools. Only cleaning and serving they get. Double standard. The same behavior that is tolerated and encouraged in boys, but punished for girls. That is a double standard, right? And the right to education prohibits corporal punishments in Indian schools, and differential and gender disciplinary practice continue in both overt and subtle from across many educational institutions, which needs to be thinked and rethinked. So now the summary of this unit. We do have the bias, and we should challenge the stereotypes and create the equity that is in our hands. You have to think about it. As I told, be the change. Now, the roles that is referring to the behaviors, tasks, responsibilities that the society considers, everything is there for men and women. Stereotypes or oversimplified, fixed and generalized beliefs about the characteristics of men and women. So how this is operating in education? Curriculum content, as we told, teacher expectations, subject streaming, career guidance, school out culture, everything we have seen so deeply. So it is, again remember, gender is social construction which can be changed. It's not a biological destiny. It is not a biological destiny. It can be changed through conscious effort. Again, the effort, not effort. Conscious effort. I like the word that. Conscious efforts needs to be taken. Not just one day action. It's conscious efforts. Continuous efforts. And schools are really the powerful area that has to be changed. So this step, that is, recognizing the bias. First, recognize that this is bias. Please address it. Then challenge the stereotypes. Try changing. Try your input, efforts. Then create the equity. Okay. So this is all about gender, school, society, and this particular unit, gender identity and gender socialization process. So we do have the further 3 units which will be discussed in future. So third unit will be gender and social curriculum. Soon you will be receiving video for that also. Keep studying. We can expect the exams very soon. All the best to everybody and thank you for listening. Bye.